Hello there! So, excuse me for looking a little dead, but this week was super fun, also super exhausting. So, as you saw in the last video, my boyfriend came up for spring break, which was this week, and he just left this morning. But it was so fun to have him, show him around Anchorage, my stomping grounds, and then even show him some other places and do some things we haven't done before. Monday, I just worked on some school stuff, and then I had an interview on the phone for an internship, and then I was gonna go take him to the school to go show him around UAA. And so I first brought him to the Fine Arts building, which is kind of where most of my classes happen besides my business class. So I took him to the ceramic studio first. He got so excited about the ceramics. So he wanted to make something out of clay. So he made a little Bullwinkle from Rocky and Bullwinkle out of clay, which took like an hour and a half, but it was fine because I worked on my project anyway and it was fun. And then I showed him upstairs. We passed by the room where I have photography, which is just a computer lab. And then I took him to the printmaking lab, which he's been to the big one at LSU. So it was cool to compare the two with him. After that, we went to a friend's place where Sunday night I had cooked red beans for a bunch of friends. So I started cooking it Sunday night and I let it cook overnight, all night, and then my friend who lives there turned it off in the morning for me. And then when we got to her place on Monday, it still needed to cook down a little bit. So we started cooking that while people were showing up. And then once everybody was there, it was done, thankfully, and there was like 15 people there, and I realized how much I love cooking for people, and red beans is something you can make in really large quantity and can feed a lot of people. But the whole time I was really worried that there was issues with the beans weren't cooking down like I needed them to, so I was worried like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna give them such a bad idea of Cajun food. I was like, I can't do this, I cannot do this to these people. I need to make sure this is good. If it's not good, I'm ordering pizza for everybody. But it's okay, it turned out. They absolutely loved it. And then we had a game night, played like Quelve, which is a super crazy game. You do a bunch of tasks to get around a board, and if you don't do them, you have to go back, and it's insane. It's so much fun. But yeah, and so got to hang out with people. He got to meet a lot of my friends and stuff like that. And we even had some new people come that I hadn't met or had barely known and stuff. So we got to know them more. So that was really cool. Then Tuesday, we went and had breakfast with a friend. And then went to make a Walmart run, and then him and I drove down to Seward, which is about 3 hours from here, and it's on Resurrection Bay. And so the drive there is gorgeous. You head south of Anchorage and go around the turning and arm, and you're going all along where the mountains meet the bay. Incredible views. And so you're driving around there, and then it eventually goes off of the turning and arm and starts going into the valleys of the Chugach Mountains across to Seward. Absolutely gorgeous drive. And so we got there, we went to the Sea Life Center, which I've been to before, but was so much fun to go with him, and in the wintertime was really cool. We got to watch them feed the sea lion, which was really cool. They're huge. They have a very big male sea lion. They said 10 years old, and that was really cool. And they got him to do some tricks that help, stimulate what things he would do in nature. So that was really cool. And then going around seeing all the exhibits, learning about different oceanography in Alaska. And then they have a touch tank, so I've been to the Sea Life Center before, but it was really cool to experience with him. We got to touch urchins, we got to touch a sea cucumber, starfish, anemones. There was a bunch of cool stuff to touch, which was really cool, and he was excited about. It's like, even though I've gotten to do it before, it was really cool to experience that with him. And I mean, it's been 2 years, so it was like I kind of forgot some of the stuff. So it was really cool to go back and do it again. And I got to document it for this. And then on Wednesday, we drove to Homer, which is about 4 hours from here. And it's a little fishing town, and so I had been there 2 years ago to go halibut fishing. And so I remember it being really cool, the hustle and bustle of all these career fishermen over there, so I wanted to go show him that. Well, I didn't realize how different the winter would be. I still thought there'd be winter fishing, crabbing, stuff like that. And maybe we just didn't go at the right time, because the last time I was there, we showed up at like 5 a.m. and then we were cleaning fish in the afternoon, evening. But we got there kind of early. We woke up pretty early. And We get to the spit and there's like not a lot of people there. Hardly any cars except a few going here and there. We saw some families walking on the beach, so we went and walked on the beach, which was really pretty. Didn't realize you could do that in the winter. Really cool. There's a lot of kelp on the beach, pretty rocks, pretty seashells. And then also in the Sea Life Museum, we learned about skates, which are like stingrays. They're called Alaskan skates, and they showed us in the Sea Life Center what their egg pods look like, and they're like just little pods that I don't really know how to explain them, but I have pictures and videos of them. They're like little pods, and so we were walking on the beach and we saw one, and it was just really exciting because we were like, oh my gosh, we just learned about this yesterday. It's a little skate pod, and so we kind of put it back in the ocean. Hopefully they're new skates now because we helped it back in the ocean. Yeah, and then so we went down to the spit and went to the harbor. The spit, if I haven't clarified, is like a little peninsula that goes out into the bay. Don't quote me on it, it's Ketchimak Bay. I could spell it, don't know how to pronounce it. But it's a little peninsula that goes out, and it's like 2-ish miles long, and it's very thin, and they have like a little harbor at the end. They have some like tourist areas at the end. It's really cool. So we went out to the harbor and went to walk around, look at boats, and we were expecting to see, you know, a lot of fishermen and things. No. There was one guy shoveling his snow off his boat, and there's like maybe 2 other people that I saw moving around, but everything was dead. There was crabbing boats docked, there was a bunch of boats docked. Nothing really happening. We did see 2 sea otters in the little harbor, which was really cool. That was about it for Homer. There wasn't much going on, but it was really cool to walk around, see all the boats and stuff. And we saw one boat that Tiglax, and I heard somebody pronounce it, not sure, it was different than what it sounds, but anyway, apparently it's a famous boat that does work for a wildlife refuge, which we saw when we went to the visitor center, which is, and it's like the visitor center of islands and ocean life, something like that. It's like a little science museum kind of thing. It tells you the history of Alaska and the Aleutian Islands and everything, and like how the fur trade came to be, and what the refuge is doing now to protect different wildlife, some geese that are being hunted by not native foxes and stuff. So it was really cool. And then we watched a whole video about that boat we had just seen in the Homer Harbor, which was really cool. So then Thursday, some friends invited us to go hike to Portage Glacier, which means 3 miles across a frozen lake that also has many feet of snow, to a really cool glacier. Problem was we only had 1 pair of snowshoes between me and my boyfriend Matt. Well, I have waterproof boots, or like snowproof boots. Matt did not. So I told him, you take the snowshoes, I'll be fine, I'll just take it slow. I was dying. My legs were dying. It was just the guys with the snowshoes were going kind of fast, and so the rest of us were trying to keep up. And one of the girls with us, Sarah, she was just booking it. I don't know how she did that. She was just incredible. But me and this other guy, Marty, we were just dying at the back, trying to trudge through the snow would come up to our knees, and so, you know, you're picking up your leg and trying to go, and it was rough. But there was one point I like stopped breathing for a second. I was like, I gotta stop. Kept taking water breaks, and then I brought a Cliff Bar to eat. So it's 3 miles to the glacier, and then on the way back, my hips were dying. I have bad hips. And so then, because I had just been picking up my legs so much and trudging through thick snow for 3 miles, Matt gave me the snowshoes. He's like, you take them, your hips are dying, I'll just go. And he just started booking it through the snow, which was incredible. Don't know how he did it. So yeah, that was rough. And so we were supposed to go skiing on Friday, but we were on the drive back from Portage, which is in near Whittier, only about an hour and a half from here. And we were both like, there's no way we're gonna go skiing. So unfortunately we didn't get to go skiing. But those same friends offered us, they said, we're gonna go drive up to Danali National Park tomorrow if y'all wanna come. And that's been both on our bucket list, which I actually didn't know that was on Matt's bucket list, but we both wanted to see Denali and the national park. So we were like, that doesn't require much walking, or skiing, or hip leg action, so we're like, let's do it. And oh my gosh, so beautiful. It was such a clear day, And then we got into the national park, and Josh was telling us that he was like, you know, once you get in the national park, you probably won't see the mountain. The likelihood of seeing the mountain in the national park is like 1 in 5 trips. We happened to be on that one trip. And so we got into the national park, and we went up around the national park, and we were close near the Stampede Trail, which is, if anybody has read the book Into the Wild or seen the movie, that's what that's from. And so it's been a like bucket list of mine to go hike that, which we didn't get to hike it, but I was like 6 miles from where the bus is. And I got to see the prop bus. So that was really cool that they used for the movie. So that was incredibly cool. Like, I say, like, I can take that bucket list item and say like half did it, which hopefully I'll be able to go back and do the other half and actually hike the Stampede Trail with an experienced backpacker. But yeah, so that was really cool. And then we got into the national park and started driving. They had actually plowed part of the roads that most people say is closed at this time of year, but I guess that spring has come enough where they plowed part of the way. And so we got to park and watch the sunset over some of the mountains, and you can see Denali over in the kind of towards the horizon, which was absolutely gorgeous. We saw several moose, we saw a pack of caribou. It was just absolutely incredible, like best way to end spring break. And then in the midst of all of this, even though I had a great week, nothing could ruin that week, but with all the coronavirus panic going around right now, UAA is giving us another week of spring break. They are going to switch to online classes. I don't know about my studio classes yet. So hopefully I will still be here in Anchorage. If they end up canceling my studio classes and I get W's for it or something, I don't know what I'll do. I'll try to go home, but we'll see. Hopefully I'm still here. I hope they keep the classes, but they're also forcing me out of the dorm, so I will be moving in with someone else. Who that is yet, I'm working on finding that, but yeah, so life's about to get a little crazy, and I hope everyone's doing well with the panic, and I hope no one's caught it. Well, I mean, I know people have, but I hope none of the viewers watching this have caught it. Yeah, it's scary, and it's kind of stressful for a lot of people right now. Friends back home not knowing where they're gonna go, how they're gonna finish their classes. Like, I have another friend that's in architecture, and she's like, you can't do studio classes online, so it's gonna be a bumpy road from here, but you know, we're gonna pull together and we're gonna be okay. And hopefully this panic and pandemic will pass. And I hope you keep watching, hope you subscribe to NSE, and I hope we'll be here next week for another video, which they try to release on, I think, Wednesdays, sometimes earlier than that. But yeah, like and subscribe, and hopefully there will be more tales to tell from the semester. So see y'all later.